any of us on this forum, and we will surely follow up and ensure that we share with you our document of analysis. Last week, we rolled out a process. We rolled out an important process last week. And this process was to make sure that we circulate two important publications, which again, these publications are for us to improve because we want to be as consultative as possible. The first document that we actually launched in three towns, in Nairobi, Mombasa, and Eldoret, was a clear document to state out the constitutional violations of President William Samoei Ruto and a reduced version of 13 reasons why Ruto must go. And this is a campaign document, a popular campaign document that we are taking to the people. We would like you to print it, share it on your social media, and use it for mobilization. We have also come up with a popular education, a popular education document. We are calling it the People's Charter. That People's Charter, we also want you to contribute to it. We want you to help us develop it into a policy document that can address the majority of the Kenyan people. So the National Coordination Committee of People's Assembly is developing a clear roadmap to unveil a national pro-people movement, not just to challenge Ruto's influence, but to compete for political power whenever that power falls in the street before 2027, or if he survives the round two, what we are calling season one, as we also prepare the country for season two. We must make sure that the finest daughters and sons of Kenya that were martyred by by this illegitimate regime, we must never forget them. Because if we forget them, then it basically means that the people that go to the street to sacrifice it all for the love of their homeland can actually die in vain. That is why I appreciate Comrade Kasmuel and all other comrades that have been in the streets that have taken this great effort to help us. I know Professor Fred Ogola is here, and most important people that we are actually engaged in a consultative forum to make sure that we can unveil a national movement that drives the pro-people agenda.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Booker. To anyone who's listening, a lot of the time we've said, and this we said very categorically, even starting from our press releases from last week, that we are organizing to take political power. And it's high time we stopped being shy about it, because the political class is no longer divided. These people have organized. They have come together and they've put their differences aside. Now, remember, there's a person who's like a hired gun, like Ishungwa, who his only job is to insult people at the behest of the president. Where if he's not insulting someone on behalf of outgoing President Ruto, all that he does is just he can't do anything. And now he's attached himself and he's saying that anyone who wants to deal with Baba has to deal with him. And we cannot afford to be divided. As I've said time without number, a revolution is not a popularity contest. It's not trying to see who's better than who. It is about all of us organizing just exactly the way the political class has organized. And part of that will include us taking a political, unveiling a political vehicle that will allow us to take political power. And as we've said, if we do not get a bullet revolution, we must get a ballot revolution. And part of how we need to organize to get a ballot revolution is ensuring that we have IDs and we have our votes and our voters' cards, because that's the only way we can get the kind of governance that we want. So this NCCPA that you're seeing here is not a regulated club. It was birthed on the street. It was all the influential voices that we found each other on the streets. They came from organizations. They came from several social justice centers. They came from different political parties even. And we decided, hey, it's high time we stop just accounting for comrades in our small organizations. Anytime we will be doing any action, this is the kind of insulation that we'll be having for each other. And also, as we organize to take political power, there are people who just think that all the work that we want to do or are known for is just taking to the streets and leading maandamano. And that's the other thing which we are saying, that it cannot be so. And that's why we have to use guerrilla tactics, where we tell the police, as we did last week, we tell the police that we will have a demonstration tomorrow, we do a dummy demonstration today, and then tomorrow we do not show up. But it was such a successful site, because I saw policemen in town from 4 a.m. I was being sent photos of anti-riot policemen at 4 a.m. and they left well past 9. So if that's the kind of work that we need to do, it remains bloodless. We ensure we don't lose any more children, because the political class does not care for this is a government that's willing to sacrifice its citizens. It does not care how many children it slays. It does not care how much blood it sheds, as long as they remain and cling to their power. Part of us we will have to do the groundwork that is required. We will have to visit those constituencies. We'll have to visit those words and stop being shy about it, because we intend to take political power. So if you're interested in being part of the coalition, it is a coalition that comprises of over 54 organizations as we speak. And we read them in the last space. I think we will maybe give Booker another chance to read it again, maybe later. But I don't want us to take too much time. I was waiting for Senator Omtata to join, but they seem to be having technical challenges. Comrade Muthiora, could you please confirm to me if the senator is around? I see Muthiora here.
Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining our space tonight. My name is Muthiora Kariara. I'm so grateful that Kasmuel is doing us the honors of hosting the NCCPA State of the Nation conversation tonight on his space. And I have the pleasure to inform you all that, as we had announced, that Senator Omtata is going to be with us tonight. He's indeed here. And Kasmuel, rest assured that he's going to give us his opening remarks and engage with the rest of us as you continue with this conversation. So carry on. I'll be looping him in as we go on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, comrade. And as I said, I want this platform to be, we use it because this is not a thing which I curated. This is a platform that was bestowed upon me by the Kenyan people, and it would be fair if we only allowed them to also use it to express themselves. So I would ask us to use. The senator will give his opening remarks. I request him to keep it at 5 to 7 minutes maximum. Then after those opening remarks, each speaker will speak for 2 minutes each, try and pack a punch. And Senator, part of what we would expect is to see how viable is this clarion call of Ruto must go, how what is the state of our constitution? What are some of the avenues which we can pursue? What do you think? Part of the Kenyans, this is not directly only to the senator, the people on the speakers panel, part of what we would want to hear from people like Tomboya, Grace Olwande, Evelyn, all those kinds of people would want to hear what your thoughts are with regards to the president flying out. What are some of the creative things we can do? Also, I'd like to inform people. I went to Ngara where people had the flames had ravaged their businesses, and I used to live there, so that's why I went. But apparently, I'm not allowed to attend anything, because within 10 minutes of my arrival, we were tear gassed. And I was chased there very vehemently by the OCS. So I do not know where this fear is coming from, but it is up to us now to come up with these creative ideas on how we can still continue keeping and holding this government in check. So we will have the senator give his opening remarks. Then I will pass over. I'll pass over the microphone to Comrade Booker, who is going to regulate and give us the timing. And afterwards, you will welcome all. Let's try and give this microphone to as many speakers. We'll start with the people on this panel. I wanted to balance the panel in terms of gender. I see. I'd like us to have ladies and gentlemen on the panel just as we speak, so that we do not. We are also considerate of gender balance as much as we can. Sawa. So if the senator is ready.
Ndugu Kasmuel.
Yes.
Yes, Ndugu Kasmuel, I'm ready to join.
Thank you, Senator.
How are you?
Diko salama. Salama sana. Very happy to hear from you.
Thank you for hosting us.
Thank you.
I agree, it's a very important space, and we should make use of it. Personally, we all know that we are involved in a major struggle to reset or to re-engineer, to reset or to redefine our destiny as a people. Because basically you'll find that an elite emerged in this country from the colonial times, which believes in oppressing and exploiting others and repatriating the wealth of the nation outside the country. A lot of our wealth is now in other countries, not just for Kenya, but most African countries have that problem. And it's upon us who think differently to rise up and to raise the numbers that are necessary to influence the spaces within which we occupy, so that this country can work for us, so that Project Kenya can work for us. Kenya must belong to all of us. Kenya must provide for all of us, and we must be there for Kenya. All of us must be there for Kenya. And so I'm very happy with what has happened. The Gen Z revolution is ongoing. There are various battles within that revolution. The finance bill battle is over. The other battles are coming. The old order has regrouped, but that should not frighten us, that should not dampen us, and that should not deny us the right to define what victory is. Those who want to say that the Gen Z have failed are totally mistaken. What is happening is in every war, there's a retreat, there's an advance. And I think as we retreat, we must prepare to push this war to its ultimate position, whereby we the people, and when I say we the people, my understanding of we the people is that the people are those who have voters' cards, who can vote, who can change the constitution, who can delegate power, those people with votes. So we want to see as many Gen Z as possible get ID cards and register as voters, so that they can crowd out those who think that this country should continue being mismanaged, that this country should not serve the people, it should have a small clique, and that this country should pander to the West or to other foreign powers and not be there for the people. So I'm most grateful, and I'm here with you to be led and to play whatever role I can play as an individual and as part of a team. There's nothing as important as being part of a team, and there's nothing as exciting in seeing yourself in a group where there are so many people who can lead, that you can step back and lay and still the struggle goes on. So I'm most grateful, my brother Kasmuel, and let us keep the fire burning. Victory is on the horizon. We cannot drop the ball.
Thank you, Senator. Maybe
Thank
I would
you.
just love to ask, and I don't know about the other people, but I know about myself. It is very easy in this revolutionary journey to suffer inferiority complex, to think that there could be advancements you could be making that you're not making. As a person who's dedicated their entire adult life to the struggle, were there days when you felt defeated? Were there days when the people you were fighting for, you thought you were fighting alongside or fighting for?
Hello?
Sorry,
I've lost
everybody
you.
who's on. Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, I think because I'm very sure every young person on this space is looking to see what they can do, how they can navigate these feelings, because sometimes they're told that their fire is over. How did you navigate those difficult times? Because you've also borne the brunt of violence from the state. You've been beaten, you've been bribed, and you've stayed firm. How can you tell, like, how did you navigate that as a person so that we can borrow some of the lessons?
First of all, the first thing is don't let anger get into the way. Don't let anger get into the way. Don't get angry. Try to fully understand who the enemy is. Don't waste your time insulting the police. Don't waste your time doing whatever, but focus on the victory And don't lose the power to define success. Don't let others define success for you. For example, when I looked at the other day when there was the Nanenane, some people thought it was a failure. It was not. It was a complete success because the entire security forces were out. The city was in a lockdown, and that was a big success, even without anybody turning up on the street in the numbers.
Cas, can you hear Senator?
I cannot hear the senator. I've lost him.
Okay. I think we have lost him. So, Modera. No, I think then we can proceed to
If he comes back,
Mhm.
I think if he comes back, will be
No,
senator.
he's
I think
back.
he's
actually
unmuted.
back on
Yes.
his handle. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, senator.
Is define your targets. Don't allow anger to get to cloud your mind, and know that when you get out, you are going. The fact that you are being fought is evidence you need.
Is it just me?
I seem not to hear the senator either.
Okay.
I think once he's back, we'll just let him answer that question. I wanted to hear from the senator because he, just like you, Buka, you guys, and even Professor Fred over there, you guys have devoted your lives to the struggle, and we as young people might feel as though this is a very unique problem. So, just to add on to that, Buka, how have you navigated the struggle? How have you navigated the low points of the struggle? Because they are the high points where everybody definitely agrees with what you're doing, but then there are also the low points of the struggle. In as few words as you can, how have you navigated that aspect of the struggle?
I think the most important, comrades, is that we must never individualize the struggle. If you individualize the struggle, then it looks like you're fighting only for yourself. So that means basically your stress levels will be high. It basically means that your frustrations will be high. And also do not work alone because this is not a superstar exercise. For example, I think the first time I met Cass in the street was when we were demonstrating against the the police killings and unfair policies during the COVID period. And remember, it took us again another 3 years to again meet in the street. And that synergy has been there for us who were militants in the streets. But every time we go home, and think about our country and our homeland, the driving factor is that this revolutionary process needs internal inspiration that cannot be, because nobody is gonna pay you. There is nobody who will even recognize your work of what you're doing. But I think the inner motivation is that if we fight for a better country, then all of us will be at a better place. So remember, we used to go to the street and find ourselves 2 3 people, then it went to 15, then it went to 50, then 100. And then now, just after the spark, which was the finance bill, we have 10 million people on the street, and the state is scared, like hell. So the idea is that the street protests are not picnics. We are going to face the organized violence of the state. It has to be clear for each and everybody that when you go to the streets, it's either you're going to be arrested, you're going to be brutalized, and if on the other side things go south, you can even be murdered in the street. But the biggest inspiration that keeps us all in the street is that at least at this moment, we have a chance to go to the street to express ourselves, because there are people who came before us that actually sacrificed their life to challenge the dictatorship at that time. Many people died during the fight for independence. Field Marshal Dedan Kimathi was hung by the neck until he died. So the inspiration is that each and every generation must be willing to pay a price to advance the cause of humanity. And it is not an individual struggle. It is not Buka's struggle. It's not Kasmuel's struggle. And there are days that when we are low, we just come together as a collective and say that the conditions in our country will improve for us to continue to advance the struggle for the total happiness of the people. So only two key points, Kasmuel, I would like to say. That one is that we must not individualize the struggle to think that we are only fighting for ourselves. We must make sure that the struggle is as collective as possible. And I like Senator Omtata's attitude, especially every time we meet him. He always say, "Buka, me this time I want to be led." He always come as with a lot of humbleness, even with younger comrades that have stepped forward. Like, for example, we have been in the street, but it is true that young people have come out in the streets that can also lead this movement. So we must allow the young people to again be on the front line to continue to advance our struggles. And then finally is that if we do not fight, nobody else will fight for us. And this government is not willing to relent on anything unless we force them to do. So anything that we have won in the process of challenging the government has been a product of the struggle. Even now, sometimes people say things like, President William Samoei Ruto has actually listened to the people. The truth is that he has not listened to anyone. The problem he has is that he wants to self-preserve. He wants to stay longer in power. So his hegemony is challenged. Now he tries to do some piecemeal reforms. But I just want to wish all the comrades that are willing to sacrifice it all in the streets, let's stand up for our rights. Let's make sure that this billionaire class do not threaten us. We do not need money to fight. We just need people that believes that Kenya can be a better country. Kasma. Senator Omtata is back. So I think, Comrade Omtata, you can take the mic and advance your debate.
Yeah, Ndogo book, I think you are right that if you individualize the struggle, it becomes too big for us. But the most important, when we are a team, we'll support each other and we'll be able to push each other. Those who remember the days we used to demonstrate because the police used to break us up and arrest us individually, we invented the chain and we were able to hold on to that chain, and always they were arresting 30, 40 people and they could not separate us. So if we are held together, we become each other's support base. And as they say, when spider webs unite, they can tie up a lion. So that networking, that unity of purpose, that support of each other, that question, where's my brother, where's my sister, is very important in this struggle. And we give each other what we can. If you have a bottle of water, you share. If you have got a loaf of bread, you share. Figuratively. Then you find that the enemy does not overcome you because the enemy is a system. So you need to create a counter system and you succeed. But most important, look at David. When he was taken there, he took down Goliath. First of all, he was a man of strong conviction. Number two, he had skills. And number three, he had integrity. So if we can have those three things going for us, and we look at what skills do we have within the movement, and we make use of those skills. If you are good in speech, you can be our spokesman. If you are good in data analysis, you can help us audit the public debt. If you are good in political science and things like those, you can use those skills and help us understand issues that are going on. If you are a medicine man, you can help us understand how do we understand the problem within that area so that always we ask the three questions of where, what went wrong, what needs to be done to fix it, and how long can we take to fix it. So if we rely on the skill base that we have among ourselves, if you can sing, you lead us during demos, you can do whatever. All those skills are important. And me, for that reason, if we can pool our resources together, if you have got some little money, you can buy water for the demonstrators. That way we become impossible to defeat. But most important, we must define victory. They should not define victory for us. Whatever the situation we find ourselves in, we must define victory. Because when you allow them to control the narrative, then they can distort it and they can defeat you easily. They should never control the narrative for you. And never forget the power of saying no. Let us say no to mediocrity, to nonsense. Let us say no to attempts to compromise us. Let us say no to attempts to scare us. And we build networks. Let us get to incorporate the police and all these security forces so that they can become part of us. Let us not insult them. Let us be friendly to them. And you'll find that once we make allies with these people, they become a very, very strong support base. They are just in uniform, but they are going through the same problems they're going through. So we incorporate all these people in our struggles. So basically, that's how we do. So there's ongoing street action by Kupet, teachers, and university students. Let us see how we can support them with whatever we have. Even if it is speaking out just for them to say that they are doing the right thing and just encouraging them. Let us encourage them because they are fighting for that space whereby they can be able to deliver and serve the country. When teachers are not happy, nobody is taught, we get a country of people who are not informed. So let us look at these key areas of the society. Students. So let us get out of our way and really do what we are supposed to do and ensure that all people who are agitating in whatever space and are agitating for a better Kenya are able to support each other and to overcome this billionaire class, which is basically the class of thieves that steals from us and repatriates the wealth of this nation and leaves this nation looking poorer than it is supposed to be. Kenya is a very rich country. Kenya can be turned around within a 1 year, within a generation, one generation, and we must work towards that. We must ask ourselves, what do we need to do to move our GDP from 2,000, our per capita income from 2,000 per person to about 30,000 per person within a period of 5 to 10 years? These are the questions we should have. So we should not relent because we don't have any other way out. We don't have another country to go to. This is our country and we can clean it out. We were not created to be governed by crooks and incompetent people. So that's how I hand over the mic back to Kasmuel.
Thank you very much, Comrade Omtata and Comrade Buka. So if you're a young person just like me who's wondering, Bana, we started this thing, it was 18th, we had a wave, Bana, we had millions on the street, then we went on 25th, we even breached parliament and took power back to the people, and then you're slowly just seeing it dilapidating, people are laughing in your faces, they're telling you all sorts of nonsense. I think that's where I draw the power. I draw my power and my confidence from people who've gone before us, who've seen it all. The first time if I were to tell you maybe a short story, the first time I met Buka was on the streets when we were protesting. I remember we are the ones who were doing the Fungua Nchi campaign, where we were saying we don't want the government to give us handouts. We want them to actually give us a proper plan with this lockdown, where there are people who had been locked down in Mombasa and their families were in Kisumu. They just locked down the country. And when we met Buka, we were very, I was very radical. I remember at the time I was like, no, we don't work. We were doing it with the Hospitality and Entertainment Workers Alliance. That's the organization we were doing it with. And we were very militant. And I remember saying, I don't want to work with people who are from political parties and whatnot. And as he recalled it, I remember it's taken 3 years, 3 years for him to access street action that was as massive and as impactful. So I think let's draw strength from that. Let's draw patience from that. Let's draw encouragement to see that uh, I hope all of us live long enough to see the change in our lifetimes. And if we work together and synergize, as the senator has said, we are going to achieve this change sooner rather than later. And now I would want to toss the mic to Booker. Comrade Booker, please take over the conversation. Afford as many Kenyans as you can this microphone, starting with the people we have on this panel, both male and female. Let us hear the ideas of as many people. Be very surgical with the issue of time. And let's have a productive space. I think that these spaces are not for us to speak on ourselves, but just to use ourselves as vessels. I was hoping that at 8:45 we would yield the mic to the public, and I'm very happy we are 2 minutes into time. So let's take over, and then if there are any questions towards the senator, he'll wrap up and whatnot. But for now, Comrade Booker, please take it away.
Thank you very much, Comrade Kasmuel. We just stick to about 2 minutes so that people could speak. So I will give Professor Fred Ogola time to speak. And then after you speak, we will be dropping the people who have speaks because we have almost 1,000 people waiting on the list. Fred.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Comrade Kasmuel, Buka, Comrade Okiya Omtata. It's an honor to have you here. You have been one of the persons we have looked to when we were very young, thinking whether we can ever have the courage to walk next to a policeman. And I'm sure now you know we don't care walking next to them. We don't even care hearing a gunshot. I'm sure that is the courage we have gotten from you. So they say you are our, if you call them the giants on whom we hang on their shoulders. And I'm happy with the humility I can hear around here, because without humility, you can never form a coalition. So my submissions are going to be as follows. One, we are being told the liberation we are fighting for is a smaller one than the ones they have fought for before. I want to tell them no. We are fighting a bigger liberation than that, because they are trying to say they have already won the battle of the first liberation of independence through Mau Mau, the second one about the reforms we have that we can speak and have space. But here we are speaking with people who are worse than the colonial masters, I think. So let us not think that we are fighting a smaller battle than the ones who have been fought before. I'm sure the ones like in Raila Odinga fought was much easier, even was more beneficial than the one we are fighting for is a real sacrifice. So let us not think we are fighting a smaller battle. In fact, they want to define the narrative for us, and I'm happy with what has been said by the seniors like Buka and even Okiya Omtata and Kasmuel, that let them not define our success. Our success is gonna be bigger because that our battle is much bigger. Let us be aware of all that. I just want to submit why we cannot be able to have dialogue, which was discussed before slightly by Comrade Booker. We cannot have dialogue with someone who tells us enough is enough. The word enough is enough from the president's mouth annoyed me more than any other things he has ever said. How can your employee tell you enough is enough? Imagine if you are a CEO of a company and you have given somebody a department to run, then they shout at you that enough is enough. I'm sure that person will go home that day. So enough is the main reason why Ruto must go. For me, in all the 13 reasons we have, the reason of reason is that Ruto tells us that enough is enough, which means he needs to shut down everything so that he can do anything he wants the way he wants. He does not want to be questioned. He does not want, he's saying that for now, even the constitution is suspended. Enough is enough. It is him defining that enough is enough. And I'm very bitter about that word. In fact, if there's anything that should annoy me most, is that enough is enough. For us, we have suffered. We have been taken to a cell. We've been beaten up. I saw Kasmuel spending like 4 hours literally in a day trying to get us out. When I watched his interview later, he said he has information we might not be released even by 8 p.m. Can you imagine, Kasmuel, what could the young people be doing if we had a country which is working? We could be in a laboratory trying to come up with the next software breakthrough, a breakthrough in healthcare, breakthrough in education. But we are on the street being tear gas, well-educated people, highly qualified people, more than all the buggers he has in his government. So that word enough is so annoying. And the other reason why we should never ever have a conversation with the president is that what we are asking for is not magic. We have not asked the president to perform a miracle. We have asked him to do things which are very easy and straightforward because of the following. And I repeat this word is that Kenya was never meant to be run as a guesswork, because we're putting him to task We have a constitution which has outlaid everything the way it should be done, how you should appoint the inspector of police, how you should appoint your cabinet, how you should run your government, how you should pass a budget, how you should spend money, what are the integrity issues. The constitution, the laws of Kenya, the policies of government are manuals on how to run this country. They are as clear as it is. The issue of youth unemployment is defined there. Everything there is Vision 2030. It's as if he does not read them. He just says enough is enough. So we should not have dialogue on how to run the country according to the constitution. So there is no need of dialogue. Let him just go and look at the manual for running Kenya. It's been written by the fathers of the constitution, the fathers of Kenya. So we should not have anything. Corruption is tackled. Service delivery is tackled. The economic challenges that we have are well tackled there. And then the second last point I want to bring across is that for us to be able to bring Ruto down, we must be more united, more organized than them. Even to win an election in a ballot, we shall be running a quasi government which will be more effective than the government. So, comrades on this platform, you should know that our task is much bigger. Anytime you are given a task to perform, if you perform weaker or less effective than William Ruto's ways of doing things, you should know we are going to be defeated. Kasmuel, our spokesperson, if we ever speak worse than McOure of State House, we are going to lose. Kasmuel should be given more information. I'm sure he's doing so well, so passionately. I'm sure people may like to listen to Kasmuel more than McOure. That means we have a better spokesperson. So any position we shall get in this so-called government in waiting, if you get a position, you must shine brighter than the person Gagan. Because to win this election, we shall shine better. Raila Odinga looked second class to William Ruto. That's why he lost the election. In everything, whether it's a campaign, whether it's spending money, whether on communication, whether on manifesto, whether on just team management, everything he performed second to William Ruto. That's why he lost the election. So if we want to win this election, we must arming ourselves with the instruments of power,
Prof.
which is ID, and the rest we should do much better. The last point I wanted to bring across is the issue of unity. I think that there should be the first point of unity is to agree on our common, let's say, document like it's about root to people's evolution, agree on reasons why we are agitating for what we are agitating for, and then, of course, moving on to how we can set up this government in waiting. Agreeing on those documents will be very key. Mine is to say again, thank you very much for the chance to even have ever speak to you. I know we have gone through this battle in longer time, and I'm happy that we are having a team of people who is not together. Let's work together. I can tell you that our win is in the horizons. And let's keep being united because that's what we are here for. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much, Prof. I can see some comments on the people asking, what do we think about the offensive that just happened in Nyanza, where there was a tribal mobilization to actually defeat our movement? But maybe as the speakers come back, you can also try to address the issues that are being commented on the chat. So I will give Farah. I can see his hand is up. Farah, please.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, you
Okay,
are.
thank you. My name is Afar Omar. I'm from Kajiado. On the tribal thing you just mentioned about the comment, that's one of the main reasons I really personally want Baba to lose the AU seat, because the fallacy that they're creating tribal blocks now in the Nyanza region and the Rift Valley will come down crumbling once this man loses, because Baba will not sit out and watch other people share the government. Anyways, I wanted to bring a religious perspective on all of this, because you people you call him Zakayo, I call him Pharaoh, because the storyline and everything is almost identical and it's almost the same. Um, Remember, Moses saw the burning bush alone. He was with his family, yes, but he saw it alone. And when he got there, he was told, فَخْلَعْنَ عَلَيْكَ إِنَّكَ بِالْوَادِ الْمُقَدَّسِ طُوَى. Remove thy shoes, for you stand on the sacred valley of Quwa. He embarked on this journey alone, but he, through the sacrifice and having his brother Aaron, ended up freeing the children of Israel. We have been the president. One thing that Fred said is the president said enough is enough. And you go back to the same story of Moses and Pharaoh. When Moses showed him his signs, Pharaoh told him that this was nothing other than sorcery, and he would not accord him an audience because he was scared that yubaddila dinakum, or he was either going to change their religion or cause corruption on the earth. Same as we were asking for accountability, yet we were the ones who were called the anarchists. The same people who are oppressing their tribes and now oppressing the nation at large, how are they not anarchists? Make it make sense. We need to keep building bridges with the other thing is we need to build bridges with the police, honestly, because these people are suffering through the same problems we have. They don't live in a different Kenya. Bread si shilingi 50 ama shilingi 20 kwao, it's the same prices for them, and they're earning much lower than us. Ukiangalia, that's why you have so much rampant corruption amongst the police, and we just need to treat them as humans. When Moses was told, "Idhhab ila Fir'auna innahu taqa," go and face Pharaoh for he has exceeded in transgression, he was also told, "Faqula lahu qawlan layyinan la'allahu yatadhakkaru aw yakhsha." Speak to him kindly so that he might either his heart might either turn or he might fear us. If Pharaoh was to be spoken to in kind words, how about the police? These people they're literally suffering, and it's evident to everybody. We all know a police officer. We all have friends who are cops. We don't need to antagonize them, honestly. Same as Morara has embarked on the journey of accountability and following up on developmental projects.
Farah,
Yes.
1 minute.
Sawa, shida.
Carry
No,
on.
thank you. You have people like Mkenya Daima and Shakira who have also embarked on a journey to have youth. They have a petition in parliament where they want youth and people with disability on the IBC panel as well. We need people taking up spaces. This is not a one-man show. It's impossible. And regardless of whether we change this government or not, it doesn't have to be made up of youth. It has to be made up of people of integrity. That's the most important thing. Because otherwise, we're just changing oppressors for oppressors in waiting. Buka, thank you. And those are my few remarks.
Thank you very much, and also for bringing the aspect of religion. Definitely, we are progressive religious leaders that have helped us a lot to advance, the social explosion that was on the street. And we do not have any contradictions in regard to, working with the religious community, except for the corrupt church leaders that have been anchoring, Ruto's government. Harriet,
Buka.
please.
Thank you so much, Buka, for giving me this opportunity. Let me start by that religious part. As you can see, I'm a religious minority. Yeah, that my headscarf is my signature look. So, a certified human rights consultant by the United States Institute of Diplomacy and Human Rights. Mine is just to talk about the state of the nation on healthcare industry. Like a team, especially men in here, I'm championing for the rights of women and children in our maternal healthcare system. Men have been left like widowers, childless. Women have been left childless. Some have been declared barren after they were actually capable of giving birth because of something called OBV. OBV is obstetric violence. It's the violence that happens in hospital in form of mistreatment, verbal, physical, uninformed consent on unwanted medical practices. So I started a petition on the same, and Senator here knows about it. In fact, by the end of the week, we are in touch. He's going to have the report and he's going to have the motion that is currently in the Kenyan Parliament tabled in 2023 November, guys. And imagine discussions have never been done on that petition, but some other motions are coming in, like recently they're on the list, and that one has never been discussed. Finance bill came in 2023, it has never been discussed. So my issue is with the urban centers might have relatively better facilities. Rural populations are often left with a substandard care, if any at all. So maternal health in particular is a sector in the dire need of attention, as many women in rural areas, both in urban, because even the highest population, the highest percentage of victim survivors, we found them in Nairobi. We conducted this survey across Kenya, across 27 counties. So my urge is the current state of our healthcare demands urgent reforms. It's a matter of urgency. Life are being lost, and marriage institutions are being broken because of such a kind of human right of violation. So there is increased investment there should be increased investment to ensure that every Kenyan, regardless of their location or economic status, can access quality and affordable healthcare. In fact, I'm among the people who are calling back for the Linda Mama. I was even looked Forbes Africa searched me while I was in the front line, while we were together with you guys, and they quoted me, calling out for that Linda Mama, which was being done away. So thank you so much. Senator will update you guys on whatever we'll discuss, and the petition is on my page. Kindly help me sign it so that we can have the signatures to table this motion, since it's a matter of urgency. And thank you so much for the mic, and thank you so much.
Yeah, Harriet, thanks. And also at the National Coordination Committee for People's Assembly, we are taking initiatives to actually advance the causes that protect the People's Camp. And
Kindly count
definitely
me
your
in.
petition.
Count me
Yes,
in.
so your petition is one of the initiatives. And importantly, 2 points. Harriet, kindly mute your mic. So 2 important points. The education and healthcare must not be, placed for profit, but must be for a national construction. This is important because it is also part of our program as the coalition members, that we don't want education for profit, we do not want healthcare for profit, but we want quality public funded healthcare and education for all. And it's important because it is part of our key areas that we are driving. I could see some hands are up, so I will give Samuel, and then I go to Batros. Yeah, Sam.
Yes, thank you very much for the opportunity. First is to remember the youth who lost their life during the demonstration, and also thank Kasmuel for holding this forum. I'm speaking from the diaspora. One of the things that I would like to talk about the state of the nation, we know that we already know how the nation is like a crime scene. So I think most of the things we should be discussing on the space is how we shall do so that we get good governance. And one of it is, I think has been answered, that we have now a national forum. So we need a national forum that will bring together all these people together who have been advocating for good governance. And in that national forum, it should reach out to all the groups that the current government is reaching to. We should know which religious leaders to work with, or unions. We need to talk with the university and college students at that level. So we want to see those kind of things so that we don't have these kind of divisions. We see, like, sometimes we look in the social media and it's like some of the activists are fighting for space, who is more and more popular. Second is, so far we are doing very good in talking to the youth and the learned people, but there's a very big group of people that has been left, and if we don't take care of it, then we'll still go back again to the old regime. And those are our parents. Personally, I've tried to talk with my parents and some few people who are old. I don't know, we call it the old generation, and there is a big disconnect between them and us. So what strategies do we have to speak with them? And personally, I would propose that as much as Kasmuel is communicating to us and Kinamorara, and then we also need another wing of people like Okiya Omtata and people of character like the former
Buka is, I
Justice
can't
and Odhiambo.
hear the Sam.
Yeah.
Prof, we are on actually. I think it's a problem with your mic. Just check.
Yes, just log
Carry
off
on, Sam.
and come back on.
Okay. So my point is, what strategy do we have in place to communicate with the likes of our parents, who may not understand this kind of the narrative they are used to the old narrative, which we saw is working very well for the likes of Ruto, the tribal and whatever. So my proposal, because at this stage we should be giving solutions, not more discussions, is that we need also the likes of Kina Samuel Morara. Let's look for these guys like as we move around. Let's talk with people like Chief Justice. Let's see you being accompanied by people like Chief Justice, the former Chief Justice. Actually, all of them, with Mr. Mutunga and Maranga. Those are people we really respect. We also respect people like Mother Karua. So Kenyans already know people they trust and respect. Let's forget about what is the social media, so that now those people can appeal to pathos. That is can be able to talk with the old people, the language they understand, and that will be very important. Thirdly is the issue of Punguza Muzigo, which I've been seeing is being advocated by Eric, which is very good, but it's at the wrong time. Our main problem right now is good governance. It is corruption. So even if we have 2-3 counties, and you bring back the same people like Mombasa, you bring again Joho. So instead of the 1 billion getting stolen now, they'll be stealing like 5-10 billion. So it's a good thing, initiative we really support, but let's advise those people that is the wrong time. Let's first fix the governance first, which is to get a good regime. Then lastly is let's agree that we have made a progress. The likes of Kina Raila Odinga and the activists, they have done their part. I respect them. I will always respect them. Let's avoid antagonizing them. Let's avoid talking negative things about them. But let's all know that their time has come up. They have done their best. We need a new caliber of leaders. But I want to urge the likes of Kina Kasmuel and all those who are talking, let's avoid mentioning their names. Our main focus is Ruto. Everybody in the whole country knows that the face of corruption, the face of bad governance, the face of everything evil happening right now in Kenya is Ruto. So that cannot be debated. And if you see somebody debating about whether Ruto is good or bad, then probably doesn't live in Kenya. So let's stick to that narrative so that we may be able now to this kind of space we enjoy right now. We might be, if it was not for the likes of Kina Raila and the Orengos who did their sacrifice during the 90s and Kina Willy Mutungas and Migunas, we might not even be having this kind of forum right now we are discussing. So they did their part. So let's understand and give them credit where they are. I have supported Raila and the rest since 2007, but right now, if he runs again, I cannot vote for him. So it was a good that he joined the government, and now it is a government versus the common mwananchi. So my humble request for those who are communicating, please make sure you have people called advising you on what to communicate in the social media. Let's mentor these young people like Natarus, what they write on the social media right now, because right now we are mentoring leaders. They need to know that there's a difference of what we are talking before and what they
Sam,
are saying. So thank you so much, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Buka, can you allow me to come in a bit?
Barak, I'm giving you the mic. Just hold on.
Please.
Yeah,
Okay,
just hold on.
apologies.
Yeah, just hold on. We'll have one person speak, then I give you because I'd already given the other person. But on the other point that Sam was saying was that how do we reach the old people? Now, the documents that we have published, it's important that we translate those documents also in our local languages. and use those documents for political education. So if you can volunteer to help us translate some of those documents in local languages to help us educate our parents and to politicize every space, I think that would be really good. And thanks for that good point, Sam. And then also another point that is important for us to make, that Booker is only a comrade as long as he's not auctioning the gains of the movement. Tomorrow, if I start to negotiate with the same people that are in power, then definitely I am not your comrade. So the people who fought before us, we must try as much as possible to hold them responsible, because you cannot say you fought for freedom and then you are cutting deals on the bodies of the poor working class people that have been killed by this state. So it's important to respect people, but also it is important to hold them accountable. Let me not go that much. Let me just give, so we will have Batros to speak, and then we go to Baraka, and then Cisco.
Yes, thank you, Buka. Okay, on the state of the nation, currently Kenya is in the wrong direction, but I'm very happy this movement is, at least we are forming a structure. You know, when we have a structure, we can go really far. So there are two things I want to measure on. One is health. You know, health is a very sensitive matter in the whole world, but in Kenya, it is like we are joking on it, especially at the county level. For example, my county, that is McOure County. You go there, you cannot find even the simple drugs, the painkiller drug. You cannot find it anywhere in the hospital. And yet the governor is busy building the headquarters, the county headquarters. So that is not a priority. The priority is the medicine and the drugs in the hospital. So health matter, we are still doing very bad. Matters education. Education, like the university, I think education should be free. So when the student leaders, the current student leaders are going on street, I think we should not lose this opportunity. Let us join them and let us come out in large numbers and help them fight for their future. And another thing, you know, when we started, people were very steadfast. But as we go with the movement, it's like some people are getting out of the way. Some people are betraying us. You know, betrayal is also killing us. Some people are the most the most noisy ones. The political class bribe them and they betray the cause. So as we move forward, the elements of betrayal should be dealt with. We should not give them a chance. We should punish them. The betrayers, we know them. We just call names and we ashame them publicly. You know, okay, like we cannot fight the government, but we can only question because we don't have power. We don't have the guards. They have the guards. They have the police officers. So let us question them, the accountability, transparency in everything. In fact, from all the levels of government, we start with the county, then up to the national government, because democracy cannot flourish amid fear. Let us not be fearful. Let us come eyeball to eyeball. We tell them without mincing our words. Liberty cannot bloom amid hate. We should not hate each other. If it is Kasmuel is struggling on the street, so Kasmuel is we are the same person who is hating Kasmuel for doing whatever he's doing. Let us not do it because we are not after all. When we win, we win as a team. So hate, let us not let us love each other because we are for the one goal. Another one, justice cannot take root amid rage. Let us, in case the other time a prof was beaten up and locked up, so we should know whenever such issues happen, let us go and if it is Kiambu, we go there, all of us, you know, they will fear us and we demand for immediate release of our comrades. Having said that, the movement is going well. At least we have a structure. So let us just trickle it down to county levels, and most importantly, we should have a well-structured civic education, because a lot of people are very ignorant, especially, in fact, 71% of the Kenyan population are politically illiterate. Last time when the the 4-day tour in Nyanza region, I saw people. In fact, my MP was using the school bus. Imagine, to go and source people as far as from the border of Kenya and Tanzania to come and cheer him up. Those are the things we should not be taking. Those are the things we should we go to public, we tell them out. This is what you should. This is what the, in fact, using a school bus to ferry people for a political expedition. Those are the things we always, we should also come out and condemn. Another thing, right now is like, hello.
But 1 minute, carry on. 1 minute, carry on.
Yeah, you know, it seems like we have given the president an air of breath, because he can move around. Like now, I don't know. He's going to China, so there's something we need to do. Even if you are structuring, let us act very fast. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's give Baraka the mic.
All right. I was in a meeting with on NCCPA business. I think I'd rather call NCCPA just the Committee for the People's Assembly. We can just simplify it that way for the sake of remembrance. Committee for the People's Assembly is quite simpler. And the national coordination, I think we are aware that we are going to be coordinating. We're just not with the provisional committee at the moment. So I'll start by talking about the state of the nation. I have been to 3 different counties in the past 1 week, and also in over 10 counties in the past 2 weeks. And this weekend, starting from Thursday, we had a meeting with Buka on Thursday and team. And I was in Uasin Gishu, where I met a few of the people who are involved in the protest on June 25th there. And some of them were harassed, the phones confiscated, and you know, it was interesting having to listen to the comrades in that area, because as the CPA, that is the Committee for the People's Assembly, we are going to where the people are, and we will be going to where the people are across the country. Unfortunately, Buka, you didn't connect me with the Justice Center or the chapter, the People's Assembly chapter in Eldoret. I would have loved to meet them, but I was able to meet a few university students while I was there. I was also able to visit Kiamba Church, that is the Assembly of the Kenya Assembly of God Church, where I stood at the ground where the people were burnt. The church is undergoing construction as we speak. And when I was there, as soon as I came in and we started talking with the pastor, he asked for us to come in to support in building the church. So he didn't even care if I'm a church member or a Christian. He just wanted us to sort of chip in, which is, I think, is something systematic that somebody who is going to be joining the NCCPA soon, that is John Seremani, is working on the Occupy Churches movement, which I will be participating in, and also in tandem, also revisiting some of these massacres that have historically happened. We want to document this history for ourselves and for our parents, to bring them back, because we are not our parents and we will not forget. It is important that we do not forget. I'll go to the next point I will make. We talk about the work that NCCPA is doing, the Committee for the People's Assembly, and it is wonderful. I'm just 3 days old in the committee, but I believe that going forward we have to start forming a system of funding for ourselves, because you've talked about translating and getting to our parents. And I was having a discussion with Mkenya Daima yesterday night, that is Saturday night, yes. While I was in Uasin Gishu, we had a conversation, and he has a team of over 40 translators, and some of them are TikTokers and some of them are freelancers. And he does go into his pocket sometimes to facilitate some of them. And myself, I'm also having to go into my pockets to facilitate some of these activities. Same thing with the members of the Committee for the People's Assembly. From my analysis, we saw Joshua Kayo has joined the campaign team with Morara. A lot of people are going to be joining that campaign team, and we want to support them to continue with that campaign team, campaigning against the projects that Ruto has launched, quote unquote, and relaunched, quote unquote. So a lot of us in the Committee for the People's Assembly are going to be helping and pushing that narrative, and we want to come together and make sure that we have a communications and PR team which is going to enable that. And that means having people on hand, because this is a revolution we are talking about. We are re-strategizing. We want to have a corruption website, and we want it to be running and people to be making reports. And we want to create a system that is going to be foolproof for ourselves for the time when we get into government. Well, we also had a conversation while I was in Wasingishu. The members there will want us to have an event at that area. And I did a bit of a site visit into areas in which you can go to. And I think when Murata was coming out and wanting to start his activities, we had talked to some of the guys in the diaspora to chip in, but there was conflict of interest in some of them, because some of them have had dalliance with the establishment in the past. And I think this is something unfortunate with most of our seniors, our parents and older politicians, that they have already had dalliance with the government, and it's difficult for them to come clearly and support us because of maybe the dirt that they have collected in their careers. So it is important that we come together as the Committee for the People's Assembly within this week. We start strategizing on how we're going to get this movement to Marakwet, because I met people from Marakwet, to strategize to get this movement to Bungoma. While I was going to Eldoret, I was in a matatu which had a few people from Bungoma, some of them university students, and some of them expressed interest to join our cause, but they are based in Bungoma. I met with some of the student leaders from JKUAT last week, and some of them are interested in vying. Some of them are interested in having a stake in the advancement of the cause, in ensuring that the government is checked. But we need to have structures to be able to protect these people when they go out there and they take photos of stalled projects, of mismanagement of funds. We need to have a way, and I think the good thing about the Committee for the People's Assembly, we look out for each other. Our comrades are missing, and we keep pushing for them to be produced, and we keep pushing for our comrades like today, Liston. He's being harassed. We want to ensure that we will not be coward. And I think that's the important thing about, if you're interested in joining the Committee for the People Assembly, you have to have the willingness to risk it all, because we are fighting against a crooked government, a government that is willing to murder us. And once you come on, and we have as many fearless young men and women, we can be able to conquer this in this fight. The people in Uasin are afraid. When I was there, people were telling me that we don't want this government, but they are still afraid. I was at the Kiamba village. I talked to a few people. I also was at Kiamba police station, and as I left, there was a gentleman I met who had been chased away from the police station as I was there. So injustice is everywhere. He was chased, and he wanted to report an OB, but he was chased. He's not from that community, but he is the Luo. So I don't know if he was chased because he's the Luo or something, but when we were having a conversation, I took his number. He told me that he participated in the protest as well. So everywhere that I have been, whether it is in Mombasa, young people have said that we participate and we support the movement. It is incumbent upon us, and with the guidance of Okiya, Omtata, and others, other big faces, Kivuta Kibwana, have shown interest to support. There are people who are here on this space, NSFW, Lobby, seniors who have been in the game for quite some time, all politicians who want to at least make an impact. They want to to support in little ways. But as the Community for the People's Assembly, we have to come together and make that future for ourselves. We want to be in control of how things are going to be occasions. I'm finishing up, Buka. How things are going to be finishing up, and ensuring that that we have a structure that is going to outlive even the few of us, a structure that is going to ensure that these crooks and these thieves and these murderers go to jail. And that's something that we need to sit down, work around, and make sure that we have the structure across the country. Thank you. I'll be happy to hear more from the rest of the speakers.
Thank you very much, Comrade Baraka, and for your work in Eldoret. That was super. Thank you. And we know we'll get more people to volunteer to do this hard work. Cisco, please.
So, hi guys, come on, Iskia, just give me 100. I want to know if you can hear me. So, mine, I don't
Cisco,
want
we
to
can
rant
hear you.
here. Okay. I don't want to rant. I'm a Gen Z. We have been in this movement from the start up to now. So, I think I'm just going to touch on something very small here. On how we are going to educate our parents about this thing. Because I'm 100% sure all people are not getting into space to hear whatever we are speaking right now. Very few of them even have those Twitter on their phone or my heads. So, I mean, we should utilize familiar communication channels to talk to our parents and to talk to our folks. Our methods sometimes are not comfortable on them. We are supposed to be using comfortable methods, papers, community meetings, and such. Ndio wazazi wetu wajue, because so discouraging that we are, and then we have a group of people who are not in this. Akina Kasmuel wakipigana huko, some of our parents thinks ni two jokes za kawaida, because they have seen it all. They have seen how people are getting tortured and stuff, so hawataki hii story endelee.
I think we've lost Cisco. Can Mudira, can you hear Cisco?
Yes, nakusikia Buka. So mine was just to tell Kasmuel to just continue doing what you're doing. Tuko nyuma yenu, we are not ending this. We can't live the same way. Sahi tuko university, tuko na mashida huku. The funding model that they're giving us is something hadi sielewi. I wonder. The same people, billionaires akina Joho, who has such money na anataka kazi kwa government. You just want to be rich and richer here. Well, watu wanaumia huku, it's so discouraging. I mean, I don't want to rant actually, but it's so discouraging that our parents, some of us are not hearing this. So, unaweza chukua nani mic, Buka, just speak the mic.
Thank you, comrade. And of course, we are in solidarity with the tomorrow strike with the university students. So don't you worry. Kasmuel will be there. Don't you worry. I will. I think now we'll go to Njiru.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Buka and Kasmuel for hosting. Today a little bit of injection on the state of the nation. I would like to echo what John Ceremony is doing about the church, Occupy the Church thing. I think it was during our first Maandamano days, it was so effective when we would go to the church and we would let the citizen know, and more specific, we would let the people in the villages know that what is happening on the nation, the killing, the police brutality, because I just came to realize, like today, this president, sometimes he's like a wanker. He went to the church and he was like, I'm donating a tithe of 1,000 bags of maize. Like, for good heavens, there are people who are suffering and don't have a meal for day to day, and you're going to donate 1,000 bags of maize as tithe, in quotes, to a church, and then they'll be clapping at you, and then he'll be like, after I'm done with the election thing, after I'm done serving the government, I want to be an evangelist. I'm like, good heavens. how can you start believing such a human being? When did we stop occupying the churches? We should start this movement and tell the people in the churches that this person is such a liar. He lacks integrity. He's the most corrupt human being ever found on the earth. He is a murderer. He lists up all. I don't actually know where the lane started beating us, that we elected 2 ICC suspects on consecutive, like from Uhuru and Ruto. There is such a disease to this nation, and now we are going to stand. We are going to fight for our rights. We have the constitution to guide us. And thank you for the movement for the People's Assembly. I think we should start. We should not give up. I mean, we might be like a small community, but we are big in numbers. We are a lot of us. We would also like to join the People's Assembly and inject and, go to the villages, go to the church, occupy the church, because that's where the whole corruption is. Because if you go to some churches, you're like, how is this even happening? Like, people are paying tithes, people are selling their stuff for the church. Because I came to realize also people in church are in need of hope. And what Ruto is selling, he is selling hope. He is saying, nitatenga, nitafanya, nita wherever. He is selling hope. That's what people go to church to do. People go to church because they are full of problems. They want, what is God telling me today? I want hope for tomorrow. Pastor, that word was so good. It gave me hope. We are selling hope. And now Ruto has mastered that art of selling hope. I think as people who really love this nation, as good citizens of this nation, let's also start not selling hope, but counterparting whatever Ruto is doing. Let's also sell not hope. We're going to be selling hope, because 2027, it's us who should be in that parliament making laws. We should sell hope, but hope that it's going to happen, because we are so tired of this fake leadership. We are so tired of the wankers in the parliament. Sorry for Okiya Mutata, but you're a good person. You're not one of them. But for those who are doing that, please, let us also join and fight for these political seats. Let's join, and maybe, I don't know if you can earn on membership on independent seats, but let's also join on the parliament come 2027 or come whenever. And thank you so much for hosting. I will be listening. Thank you.
Yeah, Njiru, thank you for your comments. The Coordination Committee for People's Assembly is running a popular initiative that will unveil a political instrument that is nationwide, that will require people to contest for political power. So definitely we welcome you, and please inbox us and we'll invite you for our meetings. Without so much comments, I will bring my leader as well in the coalition, Comrade Cyprian Nyamwamu. Please have your mic. Cyprian, are you there? Okay. So then I will give Kinyanjui. If then come back later. Kinyanjui, please.
Yes. Hi everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. I'm Carrington Kinyanjui. I'm a student and I'm also a volunteer for Africans Rising. You might have heard of us sometime last year looking for borderless Africa signatures. We are still pushing for that, so please go to our website and sign up for a borderless and free movement Africa. It will help us. I would like to really stress this point of the possibilities of action. We have been taking actions against specific policies and decisions by the government of Kenya and President William Ruto, but we can also do sort of positive. Protests are positive, but what I mean, we can also do basically not really constructive, but you know what I'm saying. I'm talking about things that will look like building to the community. Let me give an example. It's easier this way. The president, while campaigning in central Kenya, endeared himself to the communities by helping with the construction of churches, helping with small things here and there, everywhere in the central region of the country. I think we can do the same. I think we can be constructive here. We can set up an M-Pesa with common, we can sit down, form an M-Pesa. I'm asking the committee to do this, form an M-Pesa where people can come together and solve small problems, material problems that Kenyans have. Once this is demonstrated, it shows that we are, the people, the committee, is very serious with solving the problems of Kenyans. Remember, it is very easy to win minds. People know that the people in this committee are fundamentally right about the direction where they want to take the country. But now winning hearts, that's where you get to win elections and take power and improve the society. So how can we win hearts? I would really request people to sit down and say, commit maybe by in 2 weeks, there's an M-Pesa where people can come together and start doing projects themselves by ourselves for the communities. And that way the community is likely to listen to us. And we don't have to have 500 shillings to pull crowds. All you need to do is show that you care. There's literally a stall here. There's literally more medicine in that local pharmacy because of the actions of the committee. I think this will be very impactful. Second, I would like to talk, just as I conclude, about branding. Branding is extremely important. Having a symbol, having a logo, having something that can identify a message, a simple message that can propagate itself throughout the country quite clearly in English and Swahili is also very important to show structure, to show order. One of the things that Gen X Kenyans, our parents, are worried about is what they perceive as the orderlessness of the movement. So showing order, showing a direction through branding could also be very helpful. Otherwise, thank you very much. You people have inspired us and we will keep on supporting you. Asante sana.
Yeah, Kinyanjui, just before you go, I just wanted to let you know that...
comrades, could I make my contribution because I have patchy internet where I am?
Kiama, just hold on a second. I'm going to give you the mic. Just hold on. Two things I wanted to say to Comrade Kinyanjui. One is that Africa Rising has been invited to the coalition, the committee, and I've talked to your comrade generally about it. So you people need to make a decision, but we welcome you.
Mwalimu Mutemi wa Kiama. Sorry.
Yeah, just hold on, comrades. And then Kinyanjui, also the second comment I wanted to make is that
can I go ahead?
Kiama, just hold on a second. I'm going to give you a mic. I will. You will speak just after Cyprian. Just hold on, comrade. The second thing that I wanted to make, Kinyanjui, is on the branding. We want it to be a consultative process. So once we agree on the popular initiative, the name of the popular initiative, then we are going to start massive branding around it. So that's not a problem. And also in regard to the resource mobilizations.
Thank you very much. I can see Mwalimu Mutemi wa Kiama is here. He will talk more about Africans Rising. He's our senior in the movement here in Kenya. But thank you very much, Asante.
Sure, thanks. So Cyprian, you can have the mic, and then Mutemi.
Hi, comrades. I don't know whether I have the mic. Do I have the mic? I go ahead.
Cyprian, are you here?
Do I have the mic?
Yama, you are. Kas?
Yes, sir.
Your mic.
Okay. Let me hope this works. So greetings. Yes, I can. Yes. Greetings,
okay,
everyone.
Kiama,
Greetings, Kasmuel. Thank you so much for hosting this. Greetings, Senator Omtata. Greetings to all the Kenyans on this space, Professor Pradogola, CJ Emeritus Mutunga, Mudiora Kariera, and every other Kenyan on this space. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm coming to you from Accra, Ghana, where we've just had what is called the All Africa Movement Assembly, where people who are in movement spaces from across Africa and the diaspora came together for the AMA 2024. And one of the running themes throughout is how inspired they are by the Kenyan Gen Z movement. And by Gen Z, I mean the actual Gen Z, but also
Can we all listen to Kiama? Kas, are you able to?
I beg your pardon, my comrade. I can't quite hear you clearly.
I'm just asking
as
because
represented
no, I think Kiama is back.
others right
Okay,
now,
just
where
bring
I
him
can
back.
see
If not,
you,
we could just if you drop him
but
and
you
come
can't
back,
mention everybody.
we'll just give him
What
the
I
mic.
love
Go ahead,
about this
Kiama, so that
space
we see if we can
and
hear you.
what I want to speak about, because
I think Kiama has connection issues.
Buka, I can't. I don't seem to hear Mwalimu Kiama.
Just run with the
Motemi.
mic, Cyprian. I think Kiama has issues with his connection.
can you hear me? Somehow the mic was muted. I hope you can hear me now.
Yeah, we can hardly hear you, but you
Comrade Cyprian, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah.
Yes, so greetings again from Accra, where we've had the All African Movement Assembly. We had Africans from all over the continent and the diaspora, and the running theme was how inspired they are by the events of Kenya that has happened in Kenya in the last 3 months, the Gen Z revolution, and by that I'd like to celebrate the Gen Z, but also other generations who participated. And I want to speak about the need for long-term planning. What the Gen Z was able to achieve is based on the foundation that I and other comrades had built by taking over X and other social media platforms. For 11 years, we kept going on political education online, despite some of our comrades telling us we are wasting our time. Nobody is listening. You cannot change things on social media. But one of my proudest moments is the mobilization that has happened in the last 3 months. And the fact that the platform that we built has become the mobilizing space. In fact, a lot of young people have come from TikTok into X, and X has become the main mobilizing space. So I celebrate Kasmuel and others who we will not mention, who are part of the ongoing organizing. And that points to the need for long-term planning. You plan long-term, then you break it down to short-term and mid-term goals, but you keep organizing, knowing that this is what you would call, there's our elders, African elders said, if you want your kids to sit under a shade, you must plant that tree now. The tree might mature 20 years from now, and you might not be around to sit under that shade, but you must plant the tree now. Otherwise, if you wait for 20 years to plant the tree, it will be too late. Comrades like Willie Mutunga, Cyprian Nyamwamu have come before us. They created the space that we came and joined, and we did our bit. And now The Gen Z and others will take that forward. And you guys, Kasmuel and others, you need to plant your seeds now, which is what you're doing, so that the next generation, we can say by 2032, KANU can go home fully. They said KANU will be around for 100 years. I think KANU will not be around for 100 years. I can see KANU going down in the next few years because of the energy that has been brought on board by the Gen Z. Now, other things I want to say is that we must carefully study the enemy. We must know who the enemy is, and then we must study the enemy.
Comrade, we give you 2 more
Unlike
minutes.
popular opinion, our politicians are not disorganized. They are not stupid. They are not idiots. They are very organized. In fact, the fact that we think they are idiots shows how organized they are, because they've been able to create that narrative. And we have swallowed it. Many of us have swallowed it hook, line, and sinker. Comrade Mutunga always advises us that if you cannot organize better than Professor Wall, then there's nothing you're doing in the organizing space. Because Professor Wall, if he goes to any town in Kenya right now, there'll be people who start washing. If he says he's coming there tomorrow, there are people who will start washing the roads for him tonight. And those people will be in suits, and they are PhDs and master students. And then they will contribute to their vehicles and their houses and their businesses, and they'll contribute to make that event happen when he appears tomorrow. He doesn't have to spend any coin. The movement that you're building must get to that level. We must be there. We must be as strategic as Martin Luther said. Those who are organizing for peace must learn to organize as effectively as those who are organizing for war. So one of the things that we've lacked, I can say, in some of these spaces and the organizing that we've done is what is called a revolutionary discipline. The relentlessness, the taking time to plan before you go to the streets. And that, I see that is happening now, because there was a bit of spontaneity in the Gen Z movement around the finance bill. But now people have retreated back into spaces to plan and think, so that when you say Ruto must go, it cannot just be about sloganeering. You must come up with strategies to make sure that Ruto goes home. And so we must plan. We must plan long term. We must be strategic. We must be disciplined. And we must know that the enemy is also the same, is organized and thinks long term. They make us run around in 5-year circles, but they think 20, 30, 40 years ahead and plan accordingly. And they bring the best thinkers in the country, PhDs from Harvard and Oxford, to think for them. So we must also think and plan accordingly. Now,